Today we're going to be talking about forgiveness. I'm going to be telling a little skit, doing a little story, or telling a story in like a first person kind of like view um, to prove my point. It's a fictional story to prove my point of forgiveness and why we should forgive the people that done us wrong or ruined our life somehow, or that we should move on from the past and forget the past and embrace our future a little more, because a little more um, you can go a lot further in life with just forgetting all the bad things that happened to you in your past. So this one is for forgiveness. So today we're going to be talking about forgiveness. Okay, I'm going to start on my story now. A while back, when just before the old days, I mean 2004, I went to college. Yes, I went to college. I was a grad student from um, Wardstand Avenue High School, somewhere back in the east, let's say. Um, and I grew up as a farm boy. I um, used to pick and shuck the corn in our cornfield back in the days when I was young with my father. My father was a banker and my mother was a dressmaker. Oddly enough, I wanted to become more of a business person, so I decided to stock up all my money in a jar, and then this jar became empty after a while. And after a while, I decided to just make the jar a lot bigger. Make the jar a little bit more of like a, not a existing jar, more of like a gold jar, thinking that maybe I could move past just a glass jar. So I decided to do a lot of research on businesses, and at the time I was 15, and so and on the farm you helped with pigs and cows and chickens, feeding them and making sure they're okay and don't get attacked by mountain lions or coyotes. So I did that. My father one night came home drunk after he was working at a bank, and my mother was making potatoes on the stove. And so she decided to just like make more potatoes just in case there's friends coming over, because usually my dad, usually after he comes home from drinking from work, likes to play poker with the boys. And at 15 at the time, I was like, oh, okay, so my dad is going to bring over the boys. They have kids, so it will be fun to just hang out with them. Um, it turns out that my dad was angry and that my father was running out of money in the bank. And it destroyed him internally, so he decided to abuse my mom, let's say. He decided to hit my mom and hit me, and it was a terrifying experience at age 15. Then when I got older, I decided to get out of the house, get away from my father, because my father was a horrible person, beating us, starting to now slaughter animals that aren't slaughter animals, but more of like a chauffeur kind of like animals. He started to take every living thing that I owned. He broke the jar that I had as a child. He broke the jar. He put all of the pennies, all of the quarters, all the dimes and the dollars that I earned by making money on a farm with my mom, and he decided to just have it for himself. As a 15-year-old, I was angry, so I went to school and I was crying. I was depressed. I was angry at the world and my father at the time, and so I decided to just move on. I got older. I graduated. I went to high school. I graduated for a degree in awesomeness. Just kidding. No, I graduated for a degree in business, marketing, and computer science. Top of the class, plus A student. I wanted to go to a university in California, so I did. I went to um, a university in California. I forgot the name of it at the time, and so I did a paper. I went there to do a thing, and I got booted out because of the color of my eyes. Apparently, at the time, it the color of your eyes wasn't allowed. So I just decided to just okay, maybe go to a college where I lived, somewhere close to home where I can take care of my mom after my father passed away from smoking a lot. So he got lung cancer and died. And so then I took the bus back home from Los Angeles and woke from California, Los Angeles, California. And I took the bus home all the way to Alabama. And I just told my mom, you know what, Mom? I'm going to stay here in the city. She looked at me and she said, okay. So I found a college there. I got a degree in business, marketing, and computer science. I then I looked for another college. Little do you know, it was back in California. Went to UCSB. Found the love of my life. She was so beautiful, black hair, blue eyes, new girl in school, all the way from Wisconsin. You wouldn't see it coming. So 6 years in the making, we got married. And on a lucky, fine, beautiful, sunny day at Pismo Beach, California. We got married on the beach, and 3 months later, we decided to have children. We had children, and a couple years skipped, and those children grew up. So I had a 5-year-old boy, a 2-year-old girl, and a newborn that was not born yet at the time. So my wife, Nora, went to the same school I went to, UCSB, and she decided to become a historian. So she became a historian, and it was the most interesting of all things. Like, if you would have gotten an argument of like civil rights movement or the birth of like Abraham Lincoln and what he did in his life, you would lose, because my wife was really good at history. Years passed and my kids were a little bit older. Only a few years passed. And we still had the kids in our house. They're still young, teenagers. You know about that time when teenagers start to become crazy. So one Christmas, it was Christmas of 2014, and my wife decided to take the kids to a little bit of shopping. And so when they went shopping, I was at home getting all the Christmas presents, all the Christmas decorations finished up for tomorrow's Christmas party that my wife, Laura, always shows up her friends with this cool big ass party that we have. in our house. And I get a phone call. And I thought it was going to be like, okay, so did you find the rocket ship, red scooter, and the trolley that the kids wanted? But instead of my wife on the phone, it was the police officer from the county. And I answered it, and I was like, okay, hi, is my wife in trouble? And he said, um, we need you to come down to the station. So I was petrified. I was very scared. I was super terrified. I didn't know what was going to happen. So I went down to the store. I went down to the police station, and they told me that my wife and my 3 kids were shot, killed in the mall parking lot. And I was like, what do you mean? They were just going home to the store to get presents for Christmas morning. That's tomorrow. You're telling me that my wife and my 3 kids were shot down? And he said, yes, your wife and 3 kids were shot down. The guy got away, but this is a horrible time for you, and I think that you should be somewhere with family. And I told him, I was like, they were the only family I had left. I don't have any more family. I'm the only child. My father passed away with lung cancer, and my mom passed away 2 years ago from breast cancer. So how am I going to just go home and enjoy Christmas? This time I was really angry and I was scared. And then I had a dream that all my family were by me at the same time. And they told me, it's not worth it. And I remember in this dream, what do you mean it's not worth it? Worth doubting myself every time I look at a picture frame of you guys? Worth thinking that I could have done better? And then they just said, it's not worth it. Kept on having that dream every single day for the past maybe 6 months. And then it occurred to me, it's not worth dreading on the past. It's not worth making the person that killed your wife the monster. There is no monsters. There's no reason to be mad at somebody that was possibly scared or possibly run out of money. Then I thought, I could have done the same thing if I was that person. I could have done the same actions if I was that person. But I didn't. I just thought that maybe that person is out there or in prison or just running around. And then I decided that I can't just be mad at that person for one thing that shattered a whole connection of all bad decisions that I've ever made. With that only one good decision is sending my wife and kids to the mall to get something that they will be happy for. Why would I be mad at that person if it was just one bad thing that happened out of all good things? And all of the bad things that happened in the past, it's the past. And I was angry at my father long after he was dead and long before he was alive. So I decided forgiveness. Forgiveness gave people faith. Forgiveness gave people a reason to love again. Forgiveness gave people to just move on, to the happier things, to the brighter things, to the most beautiful thing in the world. And that is forgiveness. We cannot live without forgiveness, because if we can't forgive the people who ruined our life, or the people that screwed us over, then we're the monsters. We are the monsters by giving all that fear, all that stress, all that anger build up inside us, making us angry at just not the world, but